Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Tea with Mr. T. So I'm your host, PK, and to my right we have
Oma,
to my far right we have
Michelle.
and to my left we have our star guest,
Mr. Tree.
So it's your favorite time of day where we break down what's happening on campus. None of this is sugar coated, and we're giving you straight facts. Today we're talking about the ID only lunch line, first and fifth period tardy sweeps, and detentions not being served. And for those who are waiting to hear about flooding around our campus and people parking in no parking zones, don't worry. We'll cover those in the next episode. So stay tuned and grab your tea and let's get right into the business.
All right. My name is Michelle, and I will be addressing the ID only lunch lines. So we got this new, basically, update where you can get lunch faster with your ID. However, from firsthand experience, I've noticed that there has been a few issues. One regarding the food. So because there's more people going in that entrance, the food runs out. So how can we solve that?
So that would be a simple conversation with our cafeteria manager, Lena. And what we can do with her is we could just tell her now that the fact that as we saw the numbers when we first introduced the ID only line, the idea that you guys came up with in your class, and within 24 hours we had it implemented, which was kind of cool that our cafeteria manager did that. But what we can do is now, because the numbers are so much larger going through and we're getting so many more kids through, they'll just have to adjust. And that's just easy enough just to go and ask her, like, because we have so many kids running through, can we adjust the numbers for the food to make sure we have enough food on that side so that we don't run out? So that's just an easy conversation to have with her.
Okay, so since there's two lines basically merging into one, it can get crowded right there, and it's kind of like a hazard almost. So, how can we organize it better so that it runs more smoothly?
So if you used to go through the line before, remember where you would go through to pick up your food, and then usually had the cafeteria attendants standing behind the food.
Yeah.
So what we did was we moved them out of the way so that we could open up that second line. The only thing that we can do is just the exit. So it's not really two lines merging into one. We do have two lines going into two lines. It's just the exit. There's
Yeah.
only one exit. So what we've got to do is make sure that we like either create a lane, so the ones that are just putting in their ID have one lane to go out. We have another. Again, it's just going in, watching it happen, and then just adjusting. And that's all it will take. So we could meet with the cafeteria manager and go through that. So it's not a problem.
Okay. Another thing was that there's still cutting even in the ID only line. How can we solve that issue as well?
Tell kids to grow up and start acting like an adult.
Right.
We have people that are trying to monitor it all the time. It's rude on the part of students that are doing that. And so students just have to learn it's not fair for you to be sitting there and cutting in front of other people. If you want to get your lunch quicker, then just get to the line, stop talking to your friends, and just get out, get over to the line, and get your lunch and get out. The second line has helped, obviously, with the ID only line. But if they're still going to cut, that's going to be on them. So we'll have to work on that. I know that there were questions about also having a double line on the north side. Right now, we're not going to be able to do that. So clearing out that other side where the attendants would usually stand. We have the walk-in refrigerator there and then the deliveries that come for the day. So as of right now, until we find more space to put the deliveries at, and the fact that if we can keep that the walk-in refrigerator locked, we'll be able to get the students through there. But for right now, we just don't have the capacity to do that. I know it's something that she's looking into, and that she's actually reached out to nutrition services to see if they could find a way to help us with that.
Okay.
So that way we can have two sides, or we may even just turn one of the sides into ID only, and then the other side of it is going to be just the manual way.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up next, too.
And I know that we're going to talk about, like, if you don't have your ID, the best thing to do is, this is why you should carry your ID, one. Two, if you don't have your ID, yes, you can snap a picture of it, but that's still like good luck trying to tell a cop that, oh, here's a picture of my driver's license. No, they're going to want to see the physical driver's license. For us, the other option that you have is that you could download the 5-Star Student app. And on that, once you register and you pick your city or your state, after you pick the country first, United States, pick California, and then you type in Bullard High School and it comes up, you click on that, and then it'll ask you to register by putting your ID number in and then hit register. And then your page will show up. And then on the very bottom, you'll look, it says ID, you click on it. And it not only gives you a QR code, but it also gives you a barcode, and you can toggle between the two. And from my understanding, The lunch line, it can scan a QR code or the barcode. So that's just a quicker way. And if kids want to get their lunch quicker, that's just a really quick way of doing it.
Okay, my name is Oma, and right now I'm going to be addressing the first and the fifth period tardy sweeps. So, as you probably know, people in the mornings have things that they have to do that they can't really avoid being late. So, what do you have to say about that?
So the first period tardy sweeps were put into place for those students who can avoid being late. If you sit back and watch, students won't start to move to class until that 1 minute tardy bell rings. And so they're just going to be late. And so the first period tardy sweeps were made for those kids in the sense of like, you need to get to class. The first period tardy sweeps, we've tried to stay away from as much as we can because we understand that people have issues and situations that are unavoidable, which if we have those unavoidable situations, those are conversations that we have to have with the student and the parent. If the school bus is late, we'll take care of that. If the city bus is late getting you here, we'll also take care of that. But the thing is, teachers were pushing for it. Teachers wanted a first period tardy sweep because they're constantly getting kids that are coming in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes late, and they've been on campus since like 7:30. And what's even more, I should say, is rude and disrespectful is you're going to be 5 or 10 minutes late, but then you're going to walk in with a full cup of Starbucks or Dutch Brothers, or you've got a sandwich from McDonald's. It's just disrespectful, and it ruins the flow of the teacher getting their lesson started. If you have two or three or four kids in one class being late, then you're stopping two, three, four times and ruining the flow of your lesson and maybe having to go back and repeat what you've already repeated once or twice, if not three times at this point. So again, it's something that the teachers have asked for, and we're willing to work on it because it takes a lot of work from our end, and we're fine with it. But students also have to realize that being on time is important. You're not going to be able to be late to work every single day, especially if you're coming in with a Starbucks or a Dutch Brothers. Well, it's only 5 minutes. In the real world, they're going to fire you. They might give you a really quick, like, hey, don't be late again. This is your warning. But the next time around, they're going to fire you. And we want to make sure that our students are learning and we want them to be college and career ready. Again, you're not going to be late to your college class. And if you are, professors aren't going to like that either. Professors will just literally just lock the door. You're late, and then you're done. So that is something that we're trying to do with helping out. And we've only had one first period tardy sweep at this point. We've kind of slowed down because of the rain. Yeah. We understood the rain can slow people down. But now that the weather is going to start getting better, we'll probably start instituting 1 to 2, if not 3, first period tardy sweeps a week. But we'll probably start with another one this week and then probably go with another 1 or 2 next week.
Okay, and then next I'm going to talk about the fifth period tardy sweeps.
Mhm.
Although I know that students should be more responsible and they should have better time management, I know it is a hassle to get back into the parking lots and like traffic on the way back as well. Is there any way we could like have a fifth period tardy sweep not every day?
So part of that is again, what I'm gonna take a stand on that is because of the fact that yes, we only have 30 minutes for lunch or 35 minutes. I've tried pushing it as far as I can, got my hand slapped, and I was trying to give you guys 45 or 50. So I tried doing that for kids because I understand it takes time. Obviously, with the new fence, one's electronic, so we're trying to open two so you have a quicker exit, leaving the one that's closest to the track open at all times to come in. But what I would say is if you know that you're going to be late, don't go. You're going to only have like an hour. Like when you get into the real world, you might have an hour. Some places might give you longer. Some places might give you less. At the end of the day, it's like, well, the lines are long. Well, what do you want me to do? That's part of your responsibility in getting back in time. Yes, we give students the opportunity to go off campus to get lunch, which also helps us because then we don't have to try to feed 2,400 kids. We're only having to feed maybe 1,200, or I should say 1,800 kids. So in that sense, we still have to have students come back on time. And that's, we're willing to work with some students sometimes, but other than that, I mean, like we've got to kind of keep a hard rule on that.
So for our last topic today, I want to address detention not being served because I know some students they don't serve their detentions, and I know that detentions are mandatory. So like, what happens when we don't serve our detentions?
So there's a few things that can happen. Let's just state the obvious. If you're not showing up to detention and we've got a school event coming that you want to go to, then you'll be on the non-privileged list and you won't be able to either get a guest pass or you won't be able to attend that event because you're on the non-privileged list. Whether it's an athletic event, whether it's a dance, prom, formal, whatever it is. So that's just kind of stating the obvious for everyone.
But then again, what happens when students are like, "Oh, I don't like going to those anyway," or like, "I don't even play a sport, so why does it matter?"
Right. So then let's take it a step further. Well, if let's say you're a senior, then we'll take away your off campus pass. If you're a junior, so well, I don't get to go off campus anyway, it doesn't matter. That's fine. We always keep that list of how many tardies people have and they're not doing their detentions. And we'll move that over to the following year and not allow that junior to get an off campus pass. So we can still hold that up against them as well. Like, sorry, like you're always late and you're not doing your detentions. So we're not going to allow you to have an off-campus pass. The other thing is like we have transfers who come from like different areas and they want to come to our school, and being on time and not being absent and not being tardy is part of the agreement. So if they're continuing to be absent or tardy and they're not doing their detentions, we have the right to revoke their transfer and send them back to their home school. So we do start looking for that as well because that's part of the agreement that if you're going to come back, if you're coming here on a transfer, there's three things that you have to follow, and I only need one to two of those things to send that student back to their home school. One is behavior, two is attendance, and three are grades. So you have to have at least a 2.0 GPA. You cannot have any suspensions, and your attendance should be at 95% or higher. So if you don't have one or two of those three things, at this semester, I have the right to revoke your transfer and send you back to your home school.
So detentions do like move over throughout your year. So if you don't serve detentions your junior year, you have to serve them during senior year too.
Well, we can hold off on giving you access to go. Like we could still like, you know what, you never did these things at the end of last year. So we're going to hold you down until you get some of these served and give you an opportunity to go, whether it's from year to year, because now 5 Star allows us to carry that information over from one year to the next.
All right. Cool. So in the next episode of Tea with Mr. T, we're going to be diving into some bigger topics. We're going to give shout outs to people that have been helping us around the campus. We'll talk about flooding safety and people parking in no parking zones. We see the chaos and we see the problems. So we're going to break it all down throughout the whole podcast. So if you guys have any suggestions for us to talk about, make sure to fill out our form and scan the QR code of the posters you see around school. And that's it for today's episode with T with Mr. T. Make sure you guys stay on top of things. Keep it safe. Remember, your choices shape your experience. And don't forget to be kind. Thank you, and we'll catch y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.